Okay, so I'm going to touch on a sore subject that a lot of people have been asking me about. Oh, come on, are you focusing again or not focusing? Seems to be focusing. Okay. Yeah, this is a sore subject with me. The reason it's a sore subject with me is because of the amount of money that it cost me to actually get this thing repaired. I couldn't repair this myself because it is a computerized machine, and you have to have the computer downloaded onto this this machine to calibrate it. The calibration of the machine is all done with a computer, is what I'm getting at. And I don't have the software for that, nor do I don't even have access to it. It's all through John Deere. So I will go through what went wrong. When the lightning struck, now it didn't directly strike the machine. It was like an EMP, electromagnetic pulse. It hit so loud and so hard and so ferocious that it scrambled this thing's brain. Okay, so with its brain being scrambled, it actually, up inside here on the other side of this hub, there is a speed sensor. It took out the speed sensor. Now, in order to replace that speed sensor, he had to take off these parts here and the shields and stuff to get to it, and the track. So that was about 20 minutes worth of time. You know how I know that? Because I've done this already. I had the speed sensor O-ring went bad on the other side of this thing, and I think it was the other side. It might even have been this side. It was leaking. It also knocked out the Y-axis yoke, which is in here, and you gotta raise the cab up to get to this and take some shielding off and get this thing off of here. He used the old handle. I didn't need to replace the handle, but the Y-axis was fried, and I don't think that should have took a tremendous amount of time, but apparently it did, you know, because it was very, very expensive for the labor part of this skid steer. Now, it was $107 an hour to do the work. Alright, now I'm going to walk over to my truck, and the thing works perfect now. I mean, it does its thing. Oh, and I had him replace a cable for the throttle, because the throttle linkage cable was bad. This is one of the last models that had a throttle linkage cable, so, you know, you just gotta change it. What happens with them is they get hot and then they bind up and then you don't have a foot throttle. And that really pisses me off, but, you know, I kind of like to have the foot throttle, because if you don't, it screws up the hand throttle and you don't get your full RPM. So, I'm going to say that here is the bill in here for this? Yes. Okay. This is my mobile office, if you don't mind. This is what he did. The push-pull cable was $187. There was an O-ring that was $1.53. Now, I've never bought an O-ring that was worth $1.53, but apparently John Deere O-rings are. Unload the machine with the wheel loader in the bay. They charged me $82 to do that, those motherfuckers. Can you believe that? $82 to pull that thing off. Unload machine, carry with wheel loader in the bay. They didn't do that. They didn't do that at all. They just pulled it off. It took about 5 fucking minutes. Let's see. The left controller was dead. Parking brake won't release it. Remove the bale spooler. Unhook boom cylinder lines and raise boom. Lock into the able to lift cab. Check the wiring to the left joystick. Active code. Blah blah blah. Watch X and Y axis in the diagnosis menu. Diagnosis menu. No percentage change unless wiggle handle to a certain area. Also, redundancy code needs controller. Also have active code for left speed sensor. Remove connector at the left side. Frame, pins, all good. Checked wiring sensor needs replacement. Also has active code for the glow plugs. Fuse was blown. Not sure if it was from a bad muffler. Fuse holder was melted due to heat. Recommend replacing fuse and test. They wouldn't even replace the fucking fuse. You know, isn't that kind of ridiculous? A 30-cent freaking fuse. Anyways, whatever. Note customer said not to worry about the glow plugs when dropped off. Well, yeah, but it's a fuse, for fuck's sakes. Replace left controller, remove track, remove guards, drill out bolts, retap, install new speed sensor, left side, remove sheet metal, replace throttle cable, lube pedal, run unit, only glow plug code, repeat. Refill hydraulic oil, extremely low. Well, that's what happens when you remove the... That's what happens when you remove the hydraulic cylinder lines and you pick it up. It dumps all your oil out on the ground. So he didn't reuse that, which is fine by me, but still extremely low. Adjusted track sag both sides. Check tracking good and straight. CK operation okay. All right, so that was that. Now, with that being said, and I've done most of that stuff myself except for the replacing of the Y axis, but anyways, the Y-axis, that's what it cost right there. $1,123. The wheel speed sensors, $258. They charged me freight, of course, 27 bucks. A tie band, which is fine. Plus 50, 10W30. $80 for that. $4 for a screw, which is fine. There was 4 of them. The parts was $1,683. But the labor, $1,885. Okay? Repair total, $35.69. Yeah. Work order details, it was $1,967 in labor. And they had to tax me for labor, I guess, $5, I don't know. Environmental charge for the oil, that's what it was. And the total charge to the customer was $36.50, $6.69. Do you think that there should have been $2,000 worth of, or $1,960 worth of labor on a $1,600 job? I don't. I think it's bullshit. That would equal to be about 17 hours of work, 16 to 17 hours worth of work on that skid steer, which I could only attribute to about 3 hours. Now, I don't know how, it doesn't say anything about calibration on there. And I think it should have said something about calibration, because I was told that it would have to be calibrated. And everything is listed except for a calibration on the work order. So I think that they bent me over the backside of my pickup truck and rammed it in my ass, because that was a lot of freaking money for that little bit of work. To remove and put that track back on, if they've done it before, which I know this company has probably done it lots of times before, it would only take about an hour for that procedure. Now, to drill and tap those bolt holes, I'm sure they twisted them off, which is no big deal. It might have been a tight situation in there. It might have took another hour to do that. But you know what? That's what happens when you take these high-tech pieces of equipment in to have them repaired. They just fuck you in the ass with hours. And I guess that's how they make their money. Now, they are slow over there. This was the industrial John Deere. It wasn't the ag side of John Deere. And I know that the industrial assholes like to really, soak the shit out of you. So it's probably the last time I'll take it to that place if I ever have a problem. I'll probably just muddle through and then have them come out and calibrate it if it needs to be calibrated when I have those problems. Because that's just total dog shit. I mean, total dog shit. There's no reason for $2,000 worth of labor on a $1,600 in parts job. It just really, really, really irked the shit out of me that it was that much money in labor. And you know what I mean. I mean, this guy had one arm tied behind his back or something. And it just couldn't... I can't imagine 17 hours working on that machine. I bet it didn't take that long to build that machine, let alone change a Y-axis yoke. And I'm telling you, they didn't calibrate it. They told me it had to be calibrated, but why wasn't it listed that it was calibrated on there? Because everything else was, even down to a 30-cent fuse that they did not replace, was listed on that bill. Anybody that works in a John Deere shop and works on those machines, just let me know if it does need to be calibrated or not, because 17 hours, I think, is just a severe raping. It's almost criminal rape right there I mean, I wasn't even, I'm not willing to take a raping that bad, but whatever. Anyway, that's why it's a sore subject. That's why I didn't say anything about the skid steer, because I'm a little embarrassed that I allowed a company like that to fuck me in the ass so hard. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe.